Friends, today I want to talk with you a little bit about a very important twin flame basic, and it's called the Great Call for Love. And the importance of this is not only placed in the topic itself, in the solution of it itself, but it's also very much placed in my own journey and how I came to where I am now. Because this is actually one of those things that I had needed to hear. Very concise, very clear, and very to the point, specifically said to me. Now, I will say this also to uniquely you. Or I will say it now because I had to hear this. And I was not told this. And yeah, sure, I wasn't open to hear it. Who knows? But there was also something in one way or another, how many psychology or spiritual help I was calling in from other people. I was not told many basic things that are very, very, very important. And they may even sound simple, too simple to pronounce. But they actually also, for me, are important, the most important thing of the entire journey for decades on end, and now more than ever, still always very important. Almost the only thing that is of any importance. Still, as a teacher right now for me. And I was not told these things. And that is one of my motivations also sometimes, for bringing you these videos. Like, making you part of what I should have heard. Yeah, what I should have known, but nobody told me. But that sounds like a victim, but it's also part of what really happened. So there you go. So the great call for love. I'm not sure if you feel it inside of you, but you do have it. There is a great, great, great call for love, softness, recognition, acknowledgement, mothering, fathering, loving, romance, taking care for, having great conversations with, being understood by, being shared with, being expressive with, is great, 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 enormous, ginormous call for love. And it's present in very many small things all day long. In how you behave, in how you not behave, in what you say, in what you not say. That you would love to be loved. And you want it to come from outside. And you want it to come from the lover. And you want it to come from the parents. And you want it to come from, I don't know, your friends. You want it to come from the twin flame. Because that is the biggest promise of love of them all, right? So this great, great call of love, can it be answered by the twin flame? Yes and no. Yes and no. This is interesting, right? And that is because there is a twin flame responsibility. Did you know that? There is a twin flame responsibility about this topic. And it is actually your only responsibility towards the twin flame, towards yourself, towards the divine, towards life itself. And your twin flame responsibility is to answer the call for love yourself. Oh, how much should I have heard this? That's your only responsibility, to answer your own call for love yourself by opening yourself to the deeper divine love that wells up inside of you. And that's your responsibility towards yourself and towards your twin flame too. Because are they the one that is going to answer your great call for love? Yes and no. No, because it's your only responsibility that you answer your own call for love yourself by opening yourself to the divine love that is present already here in the now, which is your divine foundational element that is always here. When you open for it, you need to open for that. So no, they don't need to answer your call for love. You need to do that yourself by opening yourself for divine love that is here now. But does the true twin flame answer your call for love? Yes, also yes. Because their presence in your life makes that you have the twin flame responsibility to answer your own call for love. Their presence in your soul life, in your physical life, reminds you of the fact that it's your responsibility towards yourself and your twin flame, towards your union, to answer the call for love yourself. And that is their love for you. Well, that was it. That was the most important thing I just wanted to share today with you. Twin flame basic. Answer your own call for love. So what is the call for love? Well, maybe it is that you want to be so close with your best friends forever, but you're just overdoing it, and it is actually enmeshment, which is a detrimental psychological pattern that people can sometimes do, and often because they've learned that in early childhood trauma. Maybe you are trying to have this deep call for love answered by walking after so many romantic interests that are really not interested in you, but you walk after them all the time. You chase them around to see if they want to kiss you or love you or at least spend the night with you or have dinner with you. As many as possible can be calls for love. Maybe you want to eat all the time, all day long, non-stop. Great, great call for love. Maybe you want to use certain strong substances that really give you a feeling of being fulfilled for a moment, but it's actually only a physical chemical fulfillment. And that wanes. Strong call for love. Enormous calls for love we have. We all have them. It's not only in extremes, but it's kind of practical to give these kinds of examples. It can actually be very, very subtle. Very subtle it can be. I saw myself a couple weeks ago doing very subtle things, and I was like, oh, it looked as though something was wrong with my doorbell system. And then I realized that, well, I had just misunderstood something about my own doorbell system, and that had unconsciously given me sort of quote unquote permission to try to answer my call for love at my neighbor's place. Well, because of a situation with packages and whatnot. And that made me realize how unconscious and how silly and how funny this goes, but it's really true. So it can be incredibly subtle. You could say it was an honest mistake, but it actually was not, because that's how these things go in our lives. But is it my responsibility that that happened? No. But it is my twin flame responsibility to answer my own call for love myself. Now that I saw that, now that I know that, I need to answer this call for love myself. And that isn't to say that we're not going to have friends and not going to have romantic dinners and not going to drink wine and not going to eat wonderful food every day. And that we're not going to ask our neighbor for help if that's appropriate at a certain moment. Once a month can happen, right? Shit happens. That is all perfect. But it's about the great call for love that is present in it. And to become aware of that in these things can be good for self-reflection, but you can be pretty sure that there is a great call for love that's for everyone. So we've all been raised by people that have not loved us wholly correctly. We're all hungering for real love, that's a great topic, I think, in the whole twin flame journey, kind of logically as well, right? And I went with this great hunger to my first spiritual teacher more than 24 years ago. And I knew that I wanted to hear from him how to deal with these unloving things in my life, among which how to deal with my family, and another one, how to find my true twin flame, or not being together with my true twin flame yet. Both were not really answered until I found that this is the answer that is underlying in both and in everything, actually, that people ask. And now today also ask me. It's a great call for love. And the only one responsibility that you have, truly have, the only one you truly have towards yourself. I really mean that. The only one. You don't have other responsibilities. That have priority. This one. This one is. And this is what will save the world. And the only responsibility that you have is answer the great call for love yourself. Don't need it to be answered by your family. That was the question that I went to my teacher with. Don't need it to be answered by your true twin flame, which is what I wanted. What was the additional question that later came in more clearly when I was with my true teacher, my first teacher. Don't even expect the teacher to fulfill this great call for love. Because what they all have in common is that they point you to the one responsibility that you have. And that is that you have to answer the great call for love yourself. And that is the love of all of them. It's the love of the family. It's the love of the twin flame. It's the love of the teacher. It's the love of the family, even though in that context I was abused. It's the love of the teacher, even though he did not eventually bring me to all my solutions and initiations, and when it all came home for me and became true for me. It is the love of the true twin flame, even though he seemingly has let me wait for a couple of decades. The only thing that they have been telling me is that is their love for me to recognize that I only have one responsibility, and that is to answer the great call for love myself by opening myself to the divine love that's already present in the now, here. But really, it's not an idea, it's not a fantasy, it's not an illusion, it's not just a story that I share with you here, like, oh yeah, there's another story. Sounds good. Must sell well. No, it doesn't sell well. These are kind of unpopular truths that I share with you as well, because you deserve to hear unpopular truths. You deserve to hear the truth, to get clarity early on, even though it sounds simple. But it's very well possible that nobody ever told you as well. It is safe, it is simple, it is the responsibility that is fully yours. Answer the great call for love yourself by opening yourself to the divine love that is already present here. And that is what the twin flame reminds you of when they are in your life. And when you have answered your responsibility, you'll be able to be together. I hope this helped. Love from Petra.